Hi guys, today I would like to share with you how it is possible that in scenario work we resolve trauma without talking about trauma. So in scenario work we never talk about trauma. Why? Because it's not productive, it's re-traumatizing, makes you actually feel worse, and it keeps you in the past. So does past matter? Yes, it does, because this is where your inner characters come from. And most importantly, this is where your desires come from. Let's look at one example. Here is Joe. Don't know why Joe looks like an alien, not an artist. So Joe this is his life, and he had a certain number of events, some of them traumatic events, happen to him in his life. I'm beginning to feel bad for poor Joe. So he was born male, healthy, everything was fine in the beginning. However, as an example, his parents were fighting, and maybe his father had problems with alcohol or drugs or something, or maybe, a story, right? It's a story. So something happened and eventually the parents got divorced. Then, for example, let's say Joe had a family pet and something happened to the pet. Maybe there was some sort of an accident, and unfortunately the pet, who was basically friend and family member, was no longer there. Then school, potentially, maybe school went smooth, or maybe there were some problems at school. Next we have job, and maybe there was a job instability. Try to get a job, try to get a career, didn't work. And I've added one more. There's an infinite number of stories that can be, right? So maybe Joe's heart was broken and he's lost his love. So that's a past story. Now, why does it matter? Every event, I kept one here as an example, lost dog due to an accident. Every event produces a number of desires. So in Joe's case, this event with the dog, what sort of desires would that event produce? First desire that an event usually produces is, I wish it never happened. However, there's usually more. I wish I could save the dog. Wouldn't you wish to save your dog? And I wish I could find the person who did it. If there's a lot of anger, I'll find that person and I'll talk to them. This is Joe in the present. And all of these desires, every single one of them, are still inside Joe. This is what we're working with. So all these different ideas and feelings and thought that come from every event. So from this event, from earlier event, from later event, all of these are actually in the present. Now Joe looks like he's got curly hair. So we don't need the past, because everything is contained in the present. So what we're going to do here is actually this, because that's what we need. This is our starting point. But these desires that Joe has, or any one of us has, they're not all the same. Some of them are nice and sweet, and some of them may be a little darker. Inner characters, how many? There could be a different number, but approximately, usually in this method, we work with about 12 of them. So now you're probably looking at the board and you're like, oh my God, I know what she's talking about. Recognizing this. I hope you are. If not, Carl Jung talked about archetypes. And the first one, and I chose this one for a reason so it's easy for you to understand, is inner child. Most people understand, say there's an inner child, right? So the innocent character. Each character would have a number of desires, usually one central desire and a number of others. So in the case of Joe, for example, his inner child could have the wish, I wish the dog lived, or I wish I could save the dog. However, inside Joe, there are also other desires and other characters. So for example, we put it generic for now, inner angry adult. And that character would have other desires. you remember there was one more. I wish I could meet the person who did it, and you continue that line. I'm not going to say it, but that inner angry adult is a different character. The inner child could be called innocent. However, inner child is not always innocent, or there could be multiple inner children. Same thing for angry adult, could be a villain. However, usually there's multiple inner adults, some of them more villain than others. It is very important to understand that your unique story means you have your unique characters. While I'm using archetypes to explain scenario work, this is not about archetypes. Your desires means you have your unique characters. In scenario work, your first character is actually your dream normal character. Remember the desires that I wish it had never happened? I wish the dog, there was never an accident with the dog. I wish my parents had a good loving relationship. So that character, they had that life. They had everything go well for them. Good family, good career, good everything. So this is your dream normal character. So in scenario work, you will have a multitude of characters, your unique characters. Besides your dream normal, you will have some sort of a superpower character. Remember in the story with Joe, I wish I could save the dog. How? Whether that character can run really fast, or they can fly, or maybe they can teleport. Whatever your character's superpower is, it's going to be up to you. Next, we're going to have some form of a dark side character or multiple characters. We're going to have some younger characters. You will have a number of different unique characters, but that's the topic for the next video. For today, I thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you have now a clear understanding of how the past, while being very important as the source of our characters, actually doesn't matter, and we don't talk about it. Thank you, and see you soon.